All right, good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are in the world. My name is Jake Damari. I'm the VP of Marketing and Sales at Excentium, and I would like to welcome you to Inside Sitecore's Composable DXP. This year, Sitecore made several interesting acquisitions to round out and improve the composable strategy around their existing suite of content experience management tools. In this webinar, Dave Shinsky, VP of Client Services at Excentium, and John Mackey, Product Marketing Manager at Sitecore, will review these new capabilities through the lens of business value to the organizations that use Sitecore and their customers. This live virtual event will be 45 minutes in total duration with time for Q&A. The content will also be recorded and made available later for on-demand viewing. After the presentation, as I mentioned, we'll have time for questions, so please enter them using the GoToWebinar interface. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to my friend and colleague, Dave Stawinski.
Hello, everyone. I hope that you are able to hear me. We had a little bit of audio distortion there for a moment, but hopefully it's all worked out. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today, wherever you are on this wonderful Thursday morning, afternoon. And we're just going to jump right in here because we did come up with a pretty brisk program for you today. Starting off, we're going to talk a little bit about who we are. Why should you be listening to us? And we're going to give you an introduction to the new concept, which may be new to you, of the composable solution. With me to help is John Massey from Sitecore. I should have mentioned that a moment ago, sorry, but he will be introduced in a moment. And we're going to talk to you about some exciting acquisitions that Sitecore has made over the past, let's say over the past year, that are really going to be changing the landscape of Sitecore from what you might be used to. And if you're not familiar with Sitecore, then your introduction, if this is maybe the first time that you've been introduced to Sitecore today, then you've really come to the right place because you're about to find out a primer on sort of everything that's happening that's exciting with Sitecore right now. It's a great time. We are especially excited about composable. The composable architecture, we always use the term Legos, and I think that's way overused and kind of a cliche at this point. But in this case, it's I think an interesting way to think about it, and John will color this in with much more aptitude than I can. But you can really imagine this way of adding incremental, modular, new features to your stack, and all of the benefits that come with that in terms of focusing on the best possible feature set, focusing on the best possible price, and then of course we love to meet new people. If over the course of this you don't hear something that you want to hear, there's going to be a Q&A at the end. If we get to the end, or if you have to jump off, please reach out and talk to me anytime you want. Dave Stawinski at Excentium.com is my email address. I'm always happy to meet new folks or catch up with my old friends. So we're going to start off by talking a little bit about Excentium, just a minute or two on who we are. So we are a full-service digital consultancy. We're based all over the United States. We have a special focus on Sitecore. We are Sitecore Partner of the Year for 2021 for the Americas. We're very proud and grateful to Sitecore for that. Really cool moment for us. And of course, we have a lot of the badges and certifications that you would expect from a platinum partner. We've been working with the platform for, well, people at Excentium anyway, have been working with the platform for as long as it's existed. My history with Sitecore goes back about 10 years now. And as you can see, there's some statistics and bullet points here about all of the great stuff with us in Sitecore, but I do want to call just a couple things to your attention. If you have an especially exotic stack with interesting integrations that you feel might be in need of a look, one of the things that we love to do to make new friends is solution assessments, and we're not faint-hearted about those sorts of things. We get called in to look at all kinds of stuff all the time, so please give us a ring if you're interested. Just a little taste of the people that we work with. You'll see some familiar brands here across all different verticals. We really we don't play favorites when it comes to verticals. We love to meet new people from any neck of the woods. And with that said, I am going to let John talk to you a bit about Sitecore.
All right, thanks so much, Dave, and thanks, Jake and the Excentium team for setting this up. Great to be here. By way of introduction, As Jake mentioned and Dave mentioned, I'm the product marketing manager for Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalized, which came over from our BoxEver acquisition earlier this year. And I just want to, I'll start with just a very brief introduction of Sitecore. And I know many of you are likely familiar, but long story short is we exist to help create unforgettable experiences. We create human connections between brands and their customers via digital experiences that leverage end-to-end content, seamless commerce, and continuous personalization to enable organizations to thrive in a world where, frankly, if you don't have a killer customer experience, you really don't have a product. And next slide, please. So I just want to start here by talking about the notion of composable. I know there's been a lot of buzz in the last 18 months or so, buzzwords and acronyms, enough to make your head spin. So we'll define that in a second, but I do want to start with this stat here on the left from Gartner that says that by 2023, about 60% of organizations will see composability in new application investments. And this notion of composability isn't one of those fads that's just going to go away. In fact, it's going to be a critical front and center component of customer experience strategies moving forward. And ultimately, that makes a lot of sense. And it makes sense that brands are looking at composable solutions when it comes to customer experience, because see this stat here on the top, customers who adopt a Composable DXP approach deliver new features 80% faster than customers using full suite solutions. That is a lot quicker. And as brands continue to execute more quickly, they're freeing up time across both marketing and IT teams to innovate and experiment with less risk while prioritizing the customer and customer needs first. And so with that, we have our definition up here of composable. I'm going to go ahead and just read off the slide here, and because I think it's that important. Composable DXP is an integrated set of core technologies that supports the composition, management, delivery, and optimization of contextualized digital experiences. It's designed to be easy to use and implement, adapting to and enhancing the existing tech stack while serving as the backbone to digital experience. And so with composable solutions, APIs and integrations become the building blocks to deliver that digital experience as quickly as audiences need them. Next slide. And so if we had to take a step back and really define what this is about, this is largely about speed. With a composable DXP, brands can create better experiences in less time. Unlike traditional full suite DXPs, which are still highly effective and relevant for many, many business requirements and many customers, composable DXPs, on the other hand, are decoupled by nature. And as Dave mentioned, using the Lego analogy, it's an apt one. They're put together like building blocks and can include technologies from multiple vendors, unlocking a true best of breed approach, if you will. And in addition to speed and faster time to value, a few other benefits you'll likely see with composable solutions are lower total cost of ownership as hosting and annual upgrade costs go down, and a more flexible development environment built on top of modern frameworks like Headless, Jamstack, and Mock. And so next slide, now that we've defined composable, let's turn our attention to Sitecore's recent acquisitions. On the left here, you can actually see all of our legacy on-prem solutions, XC, XP, XM, which, as I mentioned earlier, they do play a crucial role for so many of our customers and their unique business needs. We're going to continue to support these and build these out. They're not going anywhere. However, as you can see kind of on the right, we were a little bit lacking in the SaaS space, particularly around our commerce and experience pillars. And when it came to composable offering and our customers were really asking for more optionality, we didn't have a lot to bring to the table. That's where these 4 acquisitions come in. And so with BoxEver, which is a CDP and personalization engine, we've divided that into 2 products. Sitecore CDP, which delivers omnichannel data ingestion, unifies profiles, segments customers into real-time audiences, and delivers really valuable insights. And then Sitecore Personalized, which delivers full stack experimentation, AI-driven decisioning, and omnichannel personalization. Pardon me. 451 has become Order Cloud, which is our composable B2X commerce solution. Reflection, our newest acquisition, will actually also become 2 products, heavily steeped in AI. Sitecore Discover, which offers product discovery and merchandising, and Sitecore Sitecore Search and Sitecore Discover. Sitecore Search offering content search. And last but not least, we have Moosen, which has become Sitecore Send, providing end-to-end marketing automation. And so with that, if we jump to our next visual here, these acquisitions mean that Sitecore is now the market's first fully integrated SaaS-based digital experience platform. This is a next generation technology stack that provides ultimately greater agility, flexibility, and modularity for our customers and allows businesses to independently deploy applications for specific business needs with less upfront investment and dramatically shorter time to value. At the end of the day, this means our customers can tap into any solution that meets their business needs, mixing and matching as needed, all the while experiencing the benefits and convenience of single sign-on, unified APIs, unified design systems, unified user interfaces, robust platform services, you name it. And so with that, let me kick it back over to Dave to give us a little bit of a primer on some of our the products that we'll go into here.
Thank you, John. And so we have a little poll here for you. We like to make things interactive. And so we just like to find out a little bit more about you. So if we could just take maybe a minute or so, you should see this pop up on your screen. And if you are willing, you could just answer a question about yourself. And I think, Jake, does it just disappear when it's over? I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just going to give it a moment to collect here, and then we'll close it out.
Amazing technology we have here. Making friends.
All right.
Cool. All right. So like John said, whoopsie, lost the focus there. Here we go. Let's talk a little bit about personalization. And so John did mention to you that first acquisition he was talking to you about, BoxEver. But I want to talk to you about, why, in a little bit more depth here. And of course, all of us on this call are probably familiar with the concept of personalization. This is obviously nothing new. We've all been working on this stuff for years now. But we have to be looking ahead. And what we've been doing for the past several years with solutions like Sitecore XP is essentially this sort of statistical personalization. So we watch what someone does with web and mobile, and then we programmatically make decisions about what to show them next to help move them down the funnel, hopefully convert. It's rule-based, it's adaptive, obviously it's still statistical. So we are still segmenting all of our customers into predefined buckets. We come up with personas, we use our digital tools to put people into those buckets, and then we act accordingly, kind of aim and fire whatever marketing assets we have that are targeted at those segments to make them do what we want them to do. I have been an advocate for this for years as a CX professional. It's absolutely awesome stuff. This in no way diminishes the great work that you and others have done in this space, but we have to be looking ahead. Segmenting users is not the same as creating a relationship. And what Sitecore is giving us now is really empowering us to take things another step without the, I think, prohibitive amount of effort that would have been required in the past to do a similar thing, to create these more one-to-one relationships. And my next slide here, if I can get it, there we go. We want to be talking about what personalization can or should be. I think it's an interesting question. Is segmentation the future? I'm not going to give an answer to that. I think it's just an interesting thing to kick around. We've all put so much effort into it over the past several years, maybe even for many more years if you've been coming from the traditional marketing space, maybe for decades. But we're getting to a place where if my airline bumps my flight by 5 minutes, I get 4 different messages about it, which could even be a little overdoing it. But the point is, me as a customer and our customers as customers are beginning to expect us to be in front of them when they need us, to not have to go out searching for us. They don't feel like statistics anymore. They feel like people that have a relationship. This is doable with the existing Marcom stack, but like I said before, for some of you and for some of us, it's prohibitive because you have to develop so many assets and do so much configuration work on the front end that by the time you get to market with it, it's either too late or someone else is already doing it better, or you just simply can't, it's just prohibitive. The new tools that we're seeing come now, especially with this 451 Sitecore Personalize edition, is really enabling this at scale because it's a SaaS offering. And so the idea now is that you're not a statistic anymore. You can actually get in front of people when they need you. And I realize this is a big promise that I'm making here, and we're going to get into more depth with this about the how in a moment. But I want you all to be in the kind of frame of mind to be thinking about where we're coming from with this and why we think it's important. I don't want to see your competitors' brands get in front of your customers first with this, because then we've obviously lost a battle there. And I think that this idea of segmentation versus a one-to-one relationship is something that we're going to be carrying on for for many years to come. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to John to talk a little bit about how this is enabled.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. As Dave was making a really important point about the emerging significance of one-to-one marketing. And if I had to start with describing what did Boxever do really, really well, and therefore what does Sitecore CDP and Sitecore Personalize promise to do, it's about enabling that one-to-one marketing. And the best analogy I can think of for how this works at a high level, as I've come to learn a lot more about this and understanding the Boxever product, is in one-to-one marketing. One-to-one marketing is it's as simple as having a conversation with somebody. So if Dave and I are talking, if Dave says something, I have to do three things. I have to listen, I have to formulate my response, and I have to respond. And Boxever allows you to do those three things really, really easily, much more easily than you traditionally can do. And so when we think about the CDP, the customer data platform underneath it all powering that one-to-one marketing, this is essentially where the listening comes in. The data that your customers provide to you, those are signals, those are conversations, those are words and sentences via clicks, via information that I give you personally, via the sites that I visit, the products that I browse. We need to have our ears to the ground and listen to what our customers are telling us. And we need to do it in a way that respects privacy and is above board and fully GDPR compliant and all that critically important stuff. So CDP, at the end of the day, allows you to do that effectively, collect data from multiple sources, unify those profiles as we're seeing here into one profile that you can really work with. You're now rounding out that individual rather than just, as Dave mentioned, the bucket, rather than just the segment. And by merging these profiles and leveraging CDP's identity resolution capabilities, regardless of the channel, you can really unlock the next step in having that conversation. And so if we go to our next visual, just a bit of a snapshot of some of the features that are included with Sitecore CDP. There's some of those really core pieces that allow you to listen effectively and listen in a way that respects privacy. And I'm not going to get into too many because we're moving fast here, but this is the kind of stuff that we're always happy with Excentium to talk through and educate on and have a conversation about. And Sitecore bought CDP in addition to everything we're talking about one-to-one marketing. Boxever via Sitecore CDP now really strengthens Sitecore's existing customer intelligence and AI-driven personalization tools. And it does give customers the ability to identify those really high valuable customers on an individual level or on a highly targeted segmentation level, create those personalized journeys, surface personalized product recommendations, and so much more, which brings us to our next product here, the other half of the Boxever acquisition, which is Sitecore Personalize. So speaking of journeys, this is a snapshot of one of the tools that's available in Sitecore Personalize that takes data in from the CDP at the bottom, and marketers without any technical training can drag and drop and build these really complex decision paths to then churn out the next best action, experience, or offer that's going to delight the customer and achieve business objectives. And the data that comes in is not just customer data, but we're talking about business context, pricing, inventory, risk. We're talking about external AI systems you can plug in at the end of an AI API endpoint to SageMaker or Azure Machine Learning or TensorFlow, whatever your organization might be using. You can pull in offer catalogs. You can just imagine what you can do when you have a data lake powering everything and accessible, so you can pull it out and take it off the shelf. That's what this product does. And if we go here to the next visual and just get a sense of some of the other features included with Personalize, in addition to that real-time decisioning, we also have really robust experimentation, which is a critical piece of ensuring that the response that I'm formulating in my conversation with you as a customer is the right response, is a response that's going to resonate with you rather than annoy you. That's where full stack experimentation comes in. That's where a client-side experimentation comes in. And finally, all these pieces come together, this data, these decisions, these experiments come together in true omni-channel personalization. And I'm not just talking about websites, I'm talking about really, if you want to share, you figured out what this message is, you formulated a response, now you want to respond, you can do it anywhere where your customer is, wherever they're interacting with your brand, whether it's the website or the mobile app or a kiosk at the airport or any number of the millions of channels that we all use. And so let's jump now. I think that, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I'm back to you now to kind of prime us up on some of the other acquisitions here.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, so I want to set the stage a little bit. We talked about how, so what's the point? And, to put it bluntly, the point is conversion. We want to move people toward conversion. But in the one-to-one realm, with the one-to-one philosophy, conversion is diversified into a lot more interactions than maybe just a purchase. Because now every time someone interacts with you, they're giving you additional data that you can use to make, to help them out better in the future. But of course, in the end, what a lot of this ends up being about is commerce. And Sitecore has stepped in with another incredible acquisition. This is, in the previous slides that John was talking about, he showed you 451, which has become their Order Cloud suite. And so what we wanted to talk to you a little bit about, why might this be right for you? And the perspective that I'm taking today is a little bit more B2B focused, but it's definitely, it's B2X. This is absolutely a fantastic B2C solution as well. But over the next couple of slides, I'm going to be talking from a kind of a slightly more slanted towards B2B perspective. I think you can use your imaginations though. If you, obviously if you don't have commerce capability, please do reach out and find out about Order Cloud. But as John mentioned, this is a SaaS offering. So if you are either concerned that your existing commerce solution will not operate at the scale that you need to be at, if you're planning on scaling up to global, for example, or if it is already not performing at the level that you need it to, you have scalability issues, this is definitely something that you should be considering. And of course, if you are already a Sitecore customer or plan to be, or are interested in the stack, then this is the commerce solution that is being purposefully put out with Sitecore, so it's going to interact best with the rest of the suite. There are some features here listed. There's we love our little Venn diagrams, but you can see how I think it's all right for me to say that the previous Sitecore commerce offering was a bit more B2C focused. And so there were some more B2B features, like the ones listed here, for example, that could be accommodated but might require some custom coding. And of course, in the new world with Order Cloud, this is now baked right in. So you can have multi-supplier marketplaces, for example. I see a lot of need for that. One thing that we almost always have, of course, different prices for different customers. And you can kind of start to imagine, though, how that one-to-one world of the customer to the conversion can play out in this space as well. So, imagine that you now, you're converting someone who you already know who they are with a high degree of specificity, and then imagine the power of bringing some of these things to bear in the B2B kind of relationship. I think you can start to imagine some real great benefits there. And I'm just going to switch to my next slide here. So yeah, the end of buy and bye-bye. We need to start to think about this B2B relationship, and I think to some degree we already do, but again, maybe it hasn't been as enabled as it could have been in the past. But these are really a life cycle and a relationship that goes around and around. Someone comes and looks at our catalog and they pick out maybe a product bundle that includes, say, a piece of equipment that comes with software and firmware, a warranty and service, a training plan, and then they need upgrades for all of the above. And by the time that they have got that to market and are ready to move on to something new, this is just a cycle that this customer is going to be in for the duration of their relationship with you, which hopefully will be a long and fruitful one. So the idea is that the personalization stuff, right, helps enable the commerce stuff, and the commerce and kind of vice versa. Of course, this is all B to X, but the most important idea here that I want to get through is that this one-to-one relationship is just a lot likely to lead to conversions, and those conversions are a more diverse set of interactions maybe than they used to be. And with that said, I'm going to pass it back over just like we did before. Now John's going to tell you a bit about how they do it.
All right, thanks, Dave. Yeah, I mean, Dave put it really eloquently that the personalization that we want to deliver, that customers want to receive, it can't stop at hello, right? It has to continue through every stage of the buying cycle, from start to finish. And ultimately, that's where Order Cloud, which came over from that 451 acquisition, that's where Order Cloud really shines and shows up. And so Order Cloud, it is the modern approach to digital commerce. Its approach is composable, of course, like all these other acquisitions, headless and API first. It enables future-proof commerce strategies with a flexible and easily scalable platform. And its omni-channel management capabilities ensure an optimized and consistent buying experience across various channels. And if we go to our next visual here, we'll see that just a few of the features that are included. Anonymous guest checkout, role-based access management, grouped and segmented buyers, multi-supplier marketplace, on and on. I won't read all of them. But the critical piece here is that organizations, just as they may adopt a composable solution, a composable approach to their entire marketing stack and their commerce stack, Order Cloud almost allows you to even apply a composable solution to the features that you adopt within Order Cloud. So you can actually plug and play with the features that you need and then not use the ones that you don't want. And that flexibility and customizability or customization is really important for giving businesses the flexibility that they need to deliver that beautiful one-to-one personalized customer journey across the buying cycle in a way that also drives their business objectives. And so ultimately, the advantage of Sitecore Order Cloud is its limitless possibilities to expand and adjust the digital commerce platform's capabilities as necessary. And now I think we're jumping over to Sitecore Send from the Moosend acquisition. And I won't spend a ton of time on these last two because they're a little bit newer, and so we're still building out some of the core capabilities, and two, because I want to make sure we leave time for Q&A. But high level, Sitecore Send is a marketing automation platform. It automates marketing flows in order to provide better sales opportunities and more engaged customers. And the reason Sitecore purchased Moosend and acquired this company and this product can probably be boiled down to the fact that it solves a really important challenge. That challenge is delivering helpful, personalized, and timely communications that can be automated for scale. So again, using our one-to-one marketing framework where I need to listen, I need to think, and I need to respond, this really is about the response piece. This is about responding in a way that is really easy to make happen. It's really customizable. It's really scalable. Anybody can help formulate these responses, and I can take the learnings that I've the thinking that I've done about the response, and I can automate it and deliver it at a huge scale. And so by automating engagements that are enriched with Sitecore's broad customer insight offerings throughout the customer journey, marketers can therefore better engage customers and keep them interested. I'll just give a quick example here. Maybe an auto manufacturer wants to showcase their latest models. A current customer or someone considering a new car purchase maybe visits their core website, and with Sitecore Send and its pre-built templates, the brand could use Sitecore Content Hub as part of the composable Sitecore ecosystem to seamlessly populate the newsletter with all the content from your DAM and send it out to your high target customers and do it at scale and automate it. That customer then receives a completely brand consistent experience, raising trust and driving engagement. And when you start to combine this with tools like the decisioning canvas and some of the AI-driven real-time interaction management features in some of our other products, and the vision here is rapidly being developed is to have all of these kind of working together really seamlessly. In terms of your response, your response becomes that much smarter, and ultimately makes your customers that much more happy and willing to want to engage with you. Finally, let's jump over to the most recent acquisition, Reflection, which is AKA Sitecore Discover and Sitecore Search, 2 products. Reflection was an AI-powered digital search platform that merges context, behavioral patterns, and meaning across channels to help organizations have rich, personalized conversations with their customers. Reflection offers a comprehensive digital commerce experience platform combining insights, product intelligence, and innate AI-enabled capabilities to create more relevant and impactful search experiences. And so when you're on somebody's website, there's nothing more frustrating than trying to find something that you think you want to buy and you can't find it, or being served up recommendations for products that have nothing to do with what you just searched for. It does not feel like a personalized experience. Reflection solves that. Sitecore Discover and Sitecore Search solve that. These modules include product recommendations, category and landing pages, content personalization, customer engagement console, and much more. At the end of the day, the combination of Sitecore and Reflection solves a challenge that we might best describe as informational overkill. With a simplified conversational approach that assists customers throughout their digital journey, Reflection's AI-driven platform can go ahead and be used across all aspects of the Sitecore environment, from transforming product data into understandable consumer-friendly language to understanding shopper intent, behavior, and product preferences. We're really excited about this one. Much more to come here as we welcome it into the Sitecore family and get everything integrated. And with that, I think I'll kick it back over to Dave, and my sense is we're probably right on the cusp of Q&A.
We are getting there. And I just wanted to mention one thing for those of us who have been really steeped in the search world in Sitecore for the past many years, kind of with Solar and everything. We are very, very excited about this one. So even though we didn't spend a lot of time on it, we would love to talk to you more about this one. Another little poll that we have here for you.
Yeah, and that's actually just a slide. Let me launch the actual poll. So as we get into the questions, we really truly value your feedback. It's really important for us to understand if the content that we're sharing and taking your time during what is a busy business day for everyone is the content that we're creating bringing you value. If you don't feel so, please you can reach out to Dave or myself, jacob.tamari@excentium.com, and let me know what we can do to provide more valuable content. So this was a great presentation. I really enjoyed the back and forth, and I'm personally now I sent myself a reminder to chat on the back end about how soon we can adopt MoveSend. It looks like a really exciting addition to the suite of tools. We do have 4 questions. I think the first one is for you, John, or maybe both of you. Maybe John can start. If you could summarize, broadly speaking, what are the business advantages of pivoting to a composable digital experience platform?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question, and I'll take a stab at summarizing some of the key points we hope to make today. I think you can probably divide this into two categories. The first would be, why is composable best for businesses, or excuse me, best for your business outcomes, and then why is composable best for builders who are actually creating these products. So let's start with businesses. I would say four things. The first, as we discussed, is faster time to value. So customers can consistently, often can struggle to implement beyond content management with existing products, with our existing platform DXP. And so having a composable solution really allows you to expand broadly and quickly. You can pull in that best of breed approach. So we talked a little bit about, you'll likely see a lower total cost of ownership, as you don't have to face down what can sometimes be a higher cost of hosting and upgrades. And ultimately that results in maybe a higher return on investment. And perhaps for customers, an increased loyalty and cross-sell potential when they receive the products and the experiences that they've come to expect in this day and age. And then for builders, I think Composable really offers a flexible development environment. So I mentioned headless, Jamstack, and Mock. These are modern frameworks that give you so much more agility these days to respond quickly and build quickly. Differentiated solutions. So I think it really paves the way for folks to go after a wider total addressable market because you're more flexible. It opens up probably a broader talent pool, which is something we didn't really talk a whole lot about. But partners and customers can access a wider pool of talent rather than relatively expensive and relatively rare .NET Sitecore experts. And then finally, you'll probably see faster development cycles. Up to 10 times is something we've seen in the composable space. And I think all of these things come together to really deliver some of the business outcomes and the optionality that our customers are looking for.
Yeah, that's really appealing. It's sort of, whenever I try to explain to my friends what I do, and the head of marketing for a company that essentially helps people with marketing, it's the thing that always keeping me up at night is whether or not the technology is enabling the team to create great content, or is it getting in the way, right? And so that's good to hear. Speed to market is important. Next question. My organization is already on Sitecore Experience Platform, and we are using personalization tools. How is Sitecore CDP different from current capabilities? I think, John, that one might be for you as well.
Hey, thanks, Jake. There was a little bit of distortion, but I think I got the question. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was about, how is Sitecore CDP and Personalized? How do they differ from what XP offers? Is that the question?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a great question because there's definitely a lot of overlap. But let me try to just spell out what we see some of the differences are, and I'll contextualize this too with just out of the gate saying, this is not a replacement for XP. XP is an incredibly important product that it provides successful outcomes for so many of our customers. What we see this as potentially, an evolution, right? As things change, as the market changes, and what people want to use, it's natural to want to make sure that we have all those solutions so that our customers can access them. And so when we talk about an evolution, I think that really kind of boils down into a few categories. The first is probably true omni-channel. By being API first and SaaS based, it just facilitates plugging into every channel. I think XP really shined around web and and to an extent mobile. CDP builds on that, CDP with personalized, so that you can move, think about integrating email or customer service tickets or kiosks with mobile, with web. The possibility is really endless when it comes to connecting data sources. And in a world where data really is the name of the game, I think that's why we invested in doubled down on our data solutions. A few other things I'll mention, headless, critical for getting content out at scale. The decisioning engine that I showed that graphic of, I think that's really a game changer and something that's pretty unique in the market, being able to pull in all these pieces together and have marketers access them and churn out these really it's kind of the brain, if you will, of this one-to-one marketing that we're talking about. And then finally, I'll just say, there's an ease of integration that we're rapidly building out on our integration capabilities, so that CDP can, if need be, can plug into XP or XM, but can also just as easily plug into any of the other composable solutions we offer, or plug into any of the solutions that a customer might already have in their stack. I think that's critical. We just want customers to be thriving and reaching their business objectives. And so having a product that can plug in anywhere and fit in on an existing stack and kind of any number of arrangements, I think is critical. And there's a few other things that we can go into. I think it's a great question, and I'm always happy to dive into it deeper if there's more specific things and people want to discuss. I know the Excentium guys have a lot of wisdom on this from their experience with XP and beyond.
Excellent. I think this one's for Dave. Besides contacting our Sitecore rep, how do we get started with introducing new tools to our existing on-premises Sitecore instance?
That is a really good question. So I always like to talk about our solution assessment. So, and I want to talk about it in the context of what you've seen today. So Excentium has an offering called the Excentium Solution Assessment. And it's a way for us to get in to take a very, very close look at your solution and your code base and your processes, not just the actual technology, but the people involved and the processes involved as well. You get to meet us, we get to meet you, and over a focused amount of time and at a very achievable price point, so that we can kind of get our feet wet. You get to find out how we work, and you get some actual actionable insights about what you've got happening. There's a deliverable that comes out at the end that it's a bunch of well, depending on the solution, of course, could be a bunch of remediation recommendations with priorities. And sometimes that ends up being an engagement for the two of us to start working together on doing some fixes or some optimizations. But this is a great way for us to, in the context of these new acquisitions, this is a great way for us to find out what you've been trying to do, and possibly how some of these tools and others. We didn't talk about Content Hub much today, but there's another important one that's been around a little longer. That I would put in the same kind of constellation, which is Sitecore Content Hub, which is their DAM solution, digital asset management solution, which is really picking up steam. So if we can kind of, meet on that ground, find out what you're doing and what you've been trying to achieve, it could be a really great way to find out how you can leverage some of these. And then, of course, I think Jake mentioned this, reach out to Sitecore as well. They offer demos of most, if not all, of these tools, so you can actually see them in action. I think a lot of these demos are really, really cool. And of course, you want to find out about licensing and all that stuff. But that solution assessment is a really great way for us to kind of get to know each other. I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And true to our word, this is we're ending up just about at the 45-minute mark. And that's all the questions we have. So really appreciate everyone's time. Once again, we will be publishing a recorded version of this. So if you want to share it with your coworkers, that will be sent to you via email. If you have any questions or you would like more information, we would really love to have a deeper conversation. So please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you, Dave and John, for your knowledge and expertise. And everyone have a great rest of your Thursday. Happy holidays.